Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Draft channel. In this video, it's time to talk draft. So after round 2, going into round 3 of the 2025 NRL season. So we'll jump into the redraft league first. Have a look at the team, the matchups, all of that. So a nice even 1,000 on the dot for my draft team, which pretty stoked with, if I'm being honest. We had actually, I think this is the adjusted team potentially. Yeah, so I've stuffed up. Already made a couple of changes, but I don't know. I can't reverse them like in Classic. But I'll do my best to work it out. I think Coruscant scored a 32. Yeah, because Harry Grant I've got this week was on the bye. The front rowers, though, were amazing. Terrell May with 87 as captain as well was really nice. Big Tino with a 109, so smashing that. Even though I did trade away Payne Haas in this league, these two are making up for that. The second row, Cam McInnes with a 51, Curran with the 78 I played, and I did have Kai Pearce-Paul with a 46, so missed out on a few extra points there from Siwa, but he's coming in this week clearly with Pearce-Paul suspended. The halves, so Nico Hines with 86 was quite good. A bounce back from round 1. But Matty Burton, 47, and looked the goods until he went down with his knee injury. And unfortunately, my backup, Kyle Flanagan, is on the bye this week. So I don't want to drop Burton because I'm pretty sure someone will pick him up and stash him. I don't think there's better options than Flanagan in the waivers. So I might just be going without this week and trying to win with one player short. Centre wings were the same. So Bradman Best was the standout with 99. Nwanga Nituasi with 86 was fantastic as well. Ben Travojevic with 45 was solid, and so was Toya with a 43. And then I did have Yongi at fullback, so 25 was a bit underwhelming, but Jai Gray continues to be awesome with a 79. So you can see the changes already for this week. Grant's coming in the flex. We're giving Yongi a bench. So I guess having Coruscant and Grant, you sort of have to play them. So it does restrict the fullbacks, but I guess I don't have the strongest selection at fullback. So, got good front rowers, good hookers, decent halves when Burton's back. But outside of that, it is what it is. But we'll have a look at the game day. So did get a win if I go back to round 2. Over Scrumbags United, so Katrina's team. So this probably would have been a better way of showing who actually played. But for the Scrumbags, Kale Ero with a 111 is a standout. Hosking, so that's unfortunate that he's out injured for a while. Probably a hold if you've got bench cover. And Captain Campbell, so he was a little bit quiet against the Dogs, but hopefully can bounce back this week. Yes, just having a look, there's not a lot of second row cover on the bench there, so not sure how that's going to work out. But looking across the league, looks like Shano top of the table. I feel like I've said this a lot in the last week, but killing it so far this year, mate. 1080. Captain Ponga obviously helps. Tuapiki with an 89. Lucas with a 97 is fantastic. Arthur's with a 96. Galvin 101. So the guns popping off this week for the guns. And had Starling on the bench too, so left 100 points on the table. Who's your hooker? Marshall King. Yeah, I can understand that. Fantastic. But yeah, so in terms of moves this week, if I go back to my team, I think there was a couple. I think I did quickly talk about them. But did manage to grab Kiraz off the waivers. Someone dropped Kiraz. Super stoked about that. Not sure when he's coming back. Says round 4, so hopefully he'll be a great addition to my centre wing because there's not a lot of depth there, if I'm being honest. Don't know if I really need three fullbacks, but we'll see what happens when the troll comes back. Anything else? Who's been released this week on the waivers? So Jake Averillo, not the worst shout. Yeah, a couple of the Cowboys guys, that's fair. Haywood, that's interesting. He's got the 6 jersey this week, so 80 minutes. Obviously, playing on that edge won't be the most involved, but could be a useful second row option. Burns is injured, so that makes sense. Ezra Mann, so do we look at stashing him? Does he get a start once he's back? I guess maybe Hunt does move to 9, but he's been pretty good. Gula, I guess on the bye this week, but if you're looking for a front rower, just you could use him after this week. Tom Duffy, I think, is one you could chop, and Savala, Bentley Haight, yeah, one and done, I think, potentially, so that's fair enough. Actually, we should have a look at the other players while we're here. So if we go by the team, the amount of leagues picked in, so it's pretty wild to see that there's some leagues that don't have these guns. That's unreal. But actually, should do it by who's not available in this league under waivers or free agents. So yeah, so some of the popular picks are Jack Whiten as a free agent, dual position. Maybe he's one I should try and get on. Because yeah, he can cover centre wing and then he'll cover 5/8 while he's out. Definitely worth a look, I think. Averillo, I don't hate. Sorensen, I think it's all right if you're looking for a second rower. Josh Papali, yeah, if you want a front rower this week, that's your guy, I reckon. Lindsay Collins named on the bench, but should go all right. With he is the one of the main men there at the Roosters. Spencer Lenu's back this week, so there's a few front row options for people that need them. But because they're free agents, I should just jump on now and snap them up. Can always move Big Tino into the second row. Yeah, I'll think about Jack White, I'm definitely interested in. But we'll have a look at the Dynasty League. So this one has been a bit of a drama, but Supercoach did restore our teams on, I think it was Monday morning, potentially, and I guess it did record the results from the previous week. So I have gone back and sort of asked if they can scrub that because it's a bit stiff on the couple of the guys that picked their teams and organised a couple of moves, and then sure enough, it all got wiped away. So, but I guess pretty stoked to have my team back. So that's something. Yeah, so I don't know if we'll necessarily go into the matchup because it probably doesn't matter too much. But yeah, the team's looking pretty good. Um, yeah, so I'm just trying to think. There was a move that I made and I forgot what it was. I think Jesse Arthurs was a free agent, so I've gone ahead and sniped him, brought him in. But yeah, just realised I haven't really set the team up for this week. So because I've got Cleary and Haas, pretty similar to what I'm probably going to do in most formats this week. VC Cleary, Captain Haas, so that worked out well. Um, yeah, just looking at this team, I'm pretty happy with this that I got it back. So, like Luke Metcalf popping off, Bradman Best, Dylan Lucas. Yeah, it was a pretty good week. As I said, I didn't get Arthur's 96, but I think he'll do it again this week. So, glad he was free on the waivers. And yeah, so hopefully we can get stuck into it properly this week. Anyone else sort of recently released? I think just those guys that I dropped to get. Who was the other one? I think it was maybe Starling as well was free. So I thought I'll take the extra hooker option while it's free. So it worked out well. And yeah, so like I said, we'll get into this league now that everyone's sort of restored with the teams that they picked, for better or worse. Like I said, we can potentially scrub it. If not, it's 1 week. It's a long season. So I think it will iron itself out. But I guess just having a look at the free players in this league as well, there might be some that didn't feature on the previous list. What am I doing? Under waivers, free agents. Oh, yeah. So Dane Mariner, against the Cowboys, I think any of those Broncos backs could go massive this week. Seb Chris has been pretty good the first couple of weeks, so a few good centre wings. Schiller, Montoya's looked pretty good at the back for the Dogs. Well, coming out of the backfield, I should say. He's not playing at the back. Harris Tavita looks like he's running the ball a lot, which obviously creates attacking opportunity. Shibasaki, another free agent there. Papali'i, if you're the front rower. Siwa Wong maybe playing on the edge. I don't know if that's better or worse for his output. Nicholson, if he can replicate that 98 every week, he'd be cheering. Hubner as a free agent, maybe not the first priority, but could be a nice little stash. Yeah, so definitely some options there. But maybe we'll look across leagues generally. For I know not everyone watching this is in the same league as us. It'd be pretty boring if it was just the same guys. So let's have a look. We'll go less than 50 and see what our options are like. So just ordered by total points. As we go through the season, we might look at things like 3 round average or something. But yeah, so I guess you can see a lot of the centre wings are differential. So like Tamale, Toya, especially now Tamale's job security is a bit more secure. I think he will creep up past 25%. Mamazelis is interesting off the back of a 94, only in 20% of leagues. I think we've talked about Tuapiki and Harris Tavita already. Papali, as I said, I don't hate as an option. Dane Laurie is an interesting one if you are looking for a fullback this week, only in 21% of leagues currently. Obviously the Storm is a tough matchup, but fullbacks do score well, and Laurie's got the job for the next few weeks. Other than that, I think we've looked at a lot of these options. Someone like a Nafahu White, obviously the dual position is nice, so 36% ownership is a good one to target. I guess if we go real super pod territory, so let's crank it down to 20%, see what we get. So this is probably more for deeper leagues, so it can only go down to 30. There we go. It's a little bit slow. 20%, there we go. So let's have a look. So not too much in this category by the looks of it. Kurt Donohue's looked okay coming off the bench, but I guess only got 30 minutes on the weekend, so it's hard to pick someone that's with that sort of role. Jack Cogger, I guess, probably hasn't done too much there at the Knights. It's more Ponga and Sharp that are creating the attack there. Jojo Fafita, 55 in the first week. If you're looking for a centre wing in those deeper leagues, he could be a viable option. Nia Kore starting at only 3.9% ownership. You could do worse. Although he's not playing big minutes, so maybe you could. Or maybe you can't do worse, I think is what I meant to say. Yeah, so a couple of front rowers with small minutes. Eisenhuth, that's surprising. I thought he'd play more minutes, but seemingly not. Riley Smith, if you're looking for a hooker, I think 55 minutes bodes well. Just needs a bit of time for Parra to click, and I think Dean Hawkins in this week will actually help. I wonder if Hawkins is on this list. Or someone. Well, it doesn't matter if people have got him or not. He should appear somewhere. Yeah, I'll search for him. There we go. Yeah, so Dean Hawkins, only 1.5% of leagues. If you're looking for a backup half, I would seriously consider getting on. Obviously, he hasn't got long term job security, but you could play him if you needed to. And then obviously you can look to trade and do things like that, assuming that he does score decently. So there's another one that's deep in drafts if you're interested. I guess a couple of the other debutants as well should be, or say debutants, first games this season. So Robert Derby, 0.3% of leagues. Probably the one I like more is Tony Francis. So 0.2% of leagues. I think he is a try scorer, and he's on that wing where Khan Pereira scored a bit against the Dogs. So probably their preferred edge, just having a look at the Titans attack week 2, their first game. So I don't hate Francis as a sneaky shout. But I think that's all in terms of draft. So we might wrap the video up there. Just go back to the team so it looks a bit nicer. But yeah, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the drafts content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.